Hey everyone, this is Chris Crazyhouse here, giving some more of my Chris Crazy commentary. Yes folks, here we are, and it has been announced by Netflix that SoyBoy Beflop will be canceled. There will be no more SoyBoy Beflop. I'm sorry, I almost called it Cowboy Bebop. I can't call it that. I definitely cannot call it that. I don't know what it is, but that live action trash that they put on Netflix cannot be called Cowboy Bebop. So thank you, Netflix, I guess, for listening to the fandom out there and not doing a second season, not torturing us anymore with this garbage. So I guess I can take my hat off to Netflix for that at least. But we're going to be talking about that, folks, because maybe we shouldn't get too excited just yet. But you know, if you are so inclined and you want to buy some cool gifts for the Christmas season, please go to my Amazon store right now. You have all of my coloring books that are on sale on Amazon right now, and you can get those for your friends or family or children. Lots of great stuff. They have all three of my naturally cute coloring books, as well as my Chris Crazyhouse Hyper Fun coloring book, available now on Amazon. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about the cancellation of SoyBoy Beflop. And when it was announced, I saw that a lot of people were very happy. A lot of the fandom out there was very happy. And people like myself, I won't say that I was so much happy, but I was just like, you know, kind of breathed a sigh of relief that they weren't going to do any more. Even though I was not going to watch any more of it, I've already made it up in my mind that I had seen enough, and any more that they were going to do was going to be terrible. Like, think about this, like anyone who watched any of the live action SoyBoy Beflop, you saw how they degraded characters like Vicious. Vicious was a very malignant psychopath in the anime series, and I don't know what the heck that they were doing on the Netflix version of Vicious. I don't know what that was supposed to be, but it was not the villain Vicious that we all know and love from the Cowboy Bebop anime. Likewise, what they did with the character of Grin, who in the anime was experimented on by the military and while he was in prison, and it caused him to switch genders a bit. Okay, so it caused his estrogen levels to go out of whack, and that's what made him appear almost like a female in the anime series. But of course, they can't just have that. You can't have a character that's switching genders and it not be part of the political climate that is going on now in this country. So of course, when they did the live action show, they make him a full willing transgender, and that completely defeats the purpose of the character. I don't even think they even got into the story behind the character of Grin and the fact that he wanted revenge on Vicious for turning him in and getting him arrested by the military police. You know, like I said, they just took all that story away because they wanted to go with this political agenda and push that in the live action series. So, you know, folks, like I said, I breathed a sigh of relief that they weren't going to do any more of it, because I couldn't imagine what they were going to do later on in season 2. The introduction of the character Edward was already bad enough. And if anyone watched that last episode and paid attention to what Edward was saying, if you weren't laughing or cringing at what Edward was saying, you saw that she was mentioning the character of Vincent, who was the main villain in the Cowboy Bebop movie. So could you imagine what they were going to do with that character? That was also a badass villain character from Cowboy Bebop. I couldn't imagine what they were going to do to him. There would have been no badassery about him whatsoever, I bet you. They'd have taken that all away and made him a corny ass character like they did with the other live action characters in this trash remake. So it's over, it's done. They're not going to do any more of that. And what they're going to do, because I've already seen it with some of the people out there, they're trying to spin it and either blame old school fans like myself, saying that, you know, us being haters is the reason why the show got canceled. Now, if the show was good, it would have stood alone on its own merit and people would have liked it and it would have got a second season. There have been plenty of properties out there that have done that, but it wasn't even doing that because people who are just regular critics who usually go along to get along with whatever trash is put out there by Hollywood these days, even those people didn't like the show. And like I said in my last thoughts video about this, because it was not a proper review, I was just giving my thoughts because I was like, I'm not reviewing this trash. I'm not wasting my time trying to look into subtext and artistry and everything else. Even those critics realized that the dialogue in this newer show was just absolutely horrible. Like I gave you some examples of them using almost dialogue that you would find in a porno movie. They used that in this show. Or the way they rewrote characters like Faye, they wrote her to just be this foul-mouthed, obnoxious human being that no one would want to be around. At least the anime version of Faye would pretend to be a normal person just to lure people in before she screwed them over. This character was just obnoxious. Like I could understand when the character Spike wanted to shoot her every 5 minutes because she was just annoying. I wanted to shoot her. So that's what I'm saying, folks. This show was just terrible. So it didn't work on any level. Like I said before, that anything that they took from the original anime, they did so poorly, there's no point in watching it, and it was just better to just go ahead and watch the original anime series. And anything new that they added was just so terrible and horrible, it ruined anything you were watching. So there was no point to the show whatsoever. Now, what I mean by saying that we probably shouldn't get too excited is the fact that Netflix is still continuing with a lot of their live action remakes that they want to make of classic animated series out there. Like they're doing a live action version of Avatar, as if the first live action version of Avatar didn't already fail. I guess they think that they can do better than what M. Night Shyamalan did, but that I guess doing a little bit better than that can be too hard to beat. But once again, what are they going to do? What new things are they going to add to this? Isn't it better to just go ahead and watch the original Avatar: The Last Airbender series? I'd rather watch that than waste my time watching this live action version. Likewise, they're going to do a live action version of One Piece, which I don't see how that's even possible. I know digital effects have become a lot cheaper and easier to do, but let me ask you, do you want to cheap your way out of doing the visual effects for something like One Piece? You see what I'm saying? If they're just going to have these cheap CG backgrounds like they have for a SoyBoy Beflop, then it's going to look absolutely terrible, and there's going to be nothing redeeming about even watching a One Piece live action. You would need millions of dollars. You would have to spend the type of budget or get the type of visionaries that worked on Battle Angel Alita, because at least they put effort into making that. Okay, I don't know how big the budget was for that film. I would assume it was pretty decent size, but I think the fact that they had James Cameron, who originally wanted to do Battle Angel Alita, and also Robert Rodriguez, who cared about the source material, I think that they, using their production companies, they were able to bring that to life in a proper manner. It's almost kind of like the same way with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the original one. I don't think their budget was even that big, but the fact that they had people who cared about the source material, who had their own production studios, who were willing to put whatever effort they could to make it look the best, those movies came out to be classics. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think the Netflix people, whoever they're hiring, I don't think that they don't have that type of love for the material that they would actually do something that was worthwhile. It's going to be trash, okay? It's going to look stupid, whatever effects they add to the characters, and we already know they love interjecting politics because they feel that that's somehow fixing the original content by adding new politics onto a subject or a property like this, which is annoying to me because I don't think these people realize when they do that, they take the property and the content into a realm that will not even be relevant within the next 10 years. You see what I'm saying? By doing that, things stop becoming classics and they just become a period piece or something of their time. They don't become timeless when you do stuff like that, when you talk too much about what's going on in that day. When you do that, things stop being classics and they just become some drivel or some trash based on that time period. And when people look back on it, they laugh at it when you do stuff like that. So, I mean, like I said, let's not get too excited. They're also going to be doing a live action Mega Man, which I don't know what's going on with that, but I'll talk about that in a separate video. But you folks can let me know here how you feel about it in the comments section. Are you happy that SoyBoy Beflop has been canceled finally? Or were you looking forward to seeing season 2 of that trash heap? And are you looking forward to any of these live action remakes that they're going to push out on you guys within the next 2 to 3 years? Anyway, Crazyhouse signing out. Peace.